For the last 10 years, I have lived and breathed this program. Welcome to the first official masterclass of the Alfa Edge podcast. My name is Marwan Zahir and I'm the lead at Alfa Edge. If you are a project manager, a director, or an Erasmus Plus coordinator somewhere in Europe, you're likely used to the frantic cycle of deadline, the amount of work that we spend on the beneficiary model, and the constant hunt of high-quality partners. For the last 10 years, I have lived and breathed this program. I have seen the transition from the old lifelong learning program to the first Erasmus Plus cycle. And now, as we navigate in 2026, we are at the critical crossroads. The program is no longer just about exchanging cultures. It has become a strategic tool for the survival and the competitiveness of the European Union education. But here is the problem. Most of the organizations are Erasmus-blind. They treat the program guideline like a cookbook. They follow the recipe, they send their staff on a course, they file the report, and they wait for the next grant. At Alfa Edge, we believe that it's a waste of your time and of your organization's potential to treat it like this. To be a giant in this field, to be a trusted organization that the national agencies respect, you need to understand the architecture of the galaxy you are living in. Today, we aren't going to be talking about the forms, we are going to be talking about the funding galaxy. We are zooming out to look at the 1.2 trillion euros of a budget that powers Europe, why Erasmus Plus exists within it, and how you, as an education provider, can align yourself with the political will of Brussels to ensure your projects are never rejected again. And this is the Alfa Edge blueprint, and let's begin. Let's start with the term that makes most BMIs glaze over, the MMF, or the Multiannual Financial Framework. If you want to be a top-tier project manager, you cannot just ignore this. The MFF is the 7-year spending plan of the European Union. We are currently in the 2021-2027 cycle. This isn't just a ledger, it's a political statement. The EU doesn't just have money to give away, it allocates funds to solve specific crises. Right now, the total MFF budget sits at roughly 1.2 trillion euros. But when you add in the Next Generation EU, which is the recovery instrument, we are going to be talking about over 2 trillion euros. Erasmus Plus is housed under the heading 2B, which titles Cohesion and Resilience and Values. Why does this matter to you sitting in your office in Athens, Berlin, or Rome? Because every euro you receive in a Key Action 1, Key Action 2, or even Key Action 3 grant is tied to a KPI, which is a key performance indicator, that the European Commission has promised to the European Parliament. When the budget for Erasmus Plus was increased to over 26 billion euros for this cycle, it came with a contract. The contract says, we will give you more money, but you must prove that you are making Europe more digital, more green, and more inclusive. In my 10 years of experience, the biggest mistake I see BMs make is writing their needs analysis based slowly in their own staff's desires. My staff want to learn English, or my teachers want to see Italy. That is a 2014 mindset. In 2026, the national agency is looking for a policy alignment. When you write your Erasmus plan, you need to be quoting the European Education Area 2025 goals. You need to be referencing the Digital Education Action Plan. If you don't show how your organization is a micro engine for these macro goals, you aren't a strategist, you are just a tourist with a grant. At Alfa Edge, when we help organizations manage their own accreditations or their projects, the first thing we do is align their internal goals with the MFF's priorities. We move them from staff training to institutional transformations. This is how you build a reputation with your national agency. Now that you understand the budget, let's look at the galaxy. Erasmus Plus is the brightest star in the sky for most of us, but it's not the only one. A veteran PM knows how to use synergies. If you are an organization working in adult education, as an example, you often deal with complex social issues like migration, unemployment, digital literacy, the elderly, or even social exclusion. Sometimes Erasmus Plus is the right tool. Sometimes it's not. So let's look at the synergy between Erasmus Plus and ESF Plus, like the European Social Fund Plus, as an example. If you want to send your staff to learn a new methodology on how to integrate a long-term unemployed adults back into the workforce, you use Erasmus Plus K Action 1. You send them to a training course, hopefully at Alfa Edge, to gain that experience. But if you want to run a massive 3-year program locally to actually hire these people and pay their salaries while they train, that's that's ESF Plus. Then we have SERVE, the Citizen Equality, Rights and Values Program. This is a massive fund that many Erasmus PMs ignore it. SERVE is for projects that focus on European remembrance, democratic participation, and fighting gender-based violence. The expert lesson in 2024-2025, we saw a huge push for democracy and participation. If your project is about the European values, but you are only asking for a small K Action 122 grants, you are thinking too small. An ultimate organization uses Erasmus Plus to train their staff on these values, and then they use their expertise to apply for a SERVE grant to lead the national movement. I have spent a decade watching organizations hit funding ceilings because they only knew how to use one tool. At Alfa Edge, we teach you how to look at the whole toolkit. We don't just want you to be a course attendee, we want you to be a European leader. Understanding the synergy between these funds is what separates the amateurs from the experts. It's what makes your organization a giant in the eyes of your partners. They will see that you don't just have an Erasmus grant, you have a European strategy. So let's get very specific about where we are right now. It's 2026. We have just seen results of the midterm review of the Erasmus Plus program. The Commission has realized that the world has changed in 2021, and we have seen a geopolitical shifts, the explosion of the generative AI and the mounting crisis of disinformation. Consequently, the galaxy has shifted. We are now in the era of the European Democracy Shield. If you are writing a project today, you need to understand this term. The Democracy Shield is the EU's plan to protect our democratic processes from foreign interferences and social fragmentation. For us in adult education, as an example, this is our front line. We are no longer just teaching adults, we are building democratic resilience. The national agencies in 2026 are being told to prioritize the projects that address media literacy. Can your learners spot a deepfake? They also tell them to good look at AI ethics. Is your organization using AI to marginalize or to empower? Also basic skills for 2030s. We are moving beyond digital skills to digital sovereignty. The alpha insight is many PMs are still submitting projects about introduction to the internet. That is 10 years too late. If you want to close a deal, if you want to be the organization that others want to partner with, if you need to be talking about AI-driven literacy and intergenerational resilience, here is what you should do. When we designed our latest 2026 course catalog at Alfa Edge, we didn't just add a module on AI, we rebuilt our pedagogy. We looked at the skills gap report from the Commission and realized that the most valuable thing an adult learner can have in 2026 is the ability to adapt to a changing labor market. So you should be doing the same. If you are an accredited organization, your Erasmus plan objectives from 2021 are most likely obsolete. You need to update them. You need to show your national agency that you are a part of the democratic shield. When you do that, you aren't just a provider, you are an essential institutional partner. This is the level of thinking we bring to every mobility we host. So, it's time for the Alpha Audit. This is the part of the show where we take 10 years of I messed up stories and turn them into I won kind of success. So, the scenario. It's 2026, you have had your accreditation for 4 years, You have sent 50 staff members abroad and you've spent roughly 100K. Your national agency just scheduled a monitoring meeting or a monitoring visit. The mistake is most PMs panic and start printing boarding passes and certificates. They think the audit is about accounting, but for accredited organizations, the audit is about impact. The national agency officers is going to be looking into your office and ask one question. Show me how your organization is different than it was in 2021 because of this money. If your answer is, well, my staff is happier and they speak better English, you are in trouble. That's individual impact. The accreditation requires institutional impact. Our fix? You need a traceability chain. You need to show 1. The skills acquired. Staff went to Alfa Edge in 2024 to learn about inclusion strategies for vulnerable adults. 2. Internal dissemination. That a staff member then ran 3 workshops for the rest of the team. Obviously, we want to see the sign-in sheets. Number 3, the structural change. Your organization then changed its enrollment policy to reach more learners with fewer opportunities, as an example. Number 4, the results. Your enrollment of vulnerable adults increased by 15% in 2025. The Alpha Way, this is why we tell our clients, don't just buy a course, buy results. At Alfa Edge, we provide you with the impact templates. We give you the pre and post mobility assessment tools so that when a national agency walks in, you don't show them the boarding passes. You show them the charts. You show them evidence. You show them that you are a trusted professional organization that manages EU funds with the precision of a private bank. That's how you survive the midlife crisis of your accreditation. Your next move? Well, we have traveled far today. From a €1 trillion MFF budget to the Democracy Shield of 2026, and finally to the impact evidence you need to protect your accreditation. The funding galaxy is vast, but it's not chaotic. It has a logic. And once you understand that logic, you stop being a victim of the rules and you start being a master of them. At Alfa Edge, our mission is to ensure that every organization we work with becomes a giant in their own right. We don't just want to be your training provider, we want to be your strategic partner. In the next episodes, we are going to dive deep into episode 2, which is the soul of the program, the 4 horizontal priorities. We are going to stop talking about the green and digital as buzzwords and start talking about them as a competitive advantage. If you are ready to take your organization to the next level, visit us at alfaedu.it. Look at our 2026 staff training program and our specialized learning mobility tracks for adult education, school education, and vet education. Every single one of them was built using the 10 years of experience we have discussed today. I'm Marwan Zahir, and this was the first step into the blueprint of the European excellence. I'll see you in the next episode. Thank you.